Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we are going to be talking about AI and Siro. And Ted, exciting conversations on coaching and dealership opportunities.
Sarah, you're so right. Siro is doing some amazing work. We have Grant Shisler with us from Siro. Grant, welcome to Paragon Honda and Queens, New York.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting this, Ashley.
And Ashley is with us as well. So to help all of us provide some color, Grant, tell us a little bit about the work you're doing at Siro.
Yeah, so we're trying to take AI and empower teams at dealerships. I think the folks here at Paragon have spoken how important their culture and mindset is, and AI is a great tool to help level that up for dealers, whether that's an MI, whether that's sales teams, or of course, the service advisors working electronic lots. So what we do is provide a way for these dealers and leadership there to build cultures and establish systems that perpetuate great coaching of the behaviors that they want to be putting in front of customers.
Well, Grant, one of the biggest challenges in dealerships is finding the time to coach consistently. How can AI help dealers develop teams and also have more effective processes?
Yeah, it's a great question, Sarah. And I think oftentimes dealers say, hey, I need my managers to do more coaching. And that just doesn't happen, right? Maybe for a month, you get a Herculean effort. Someone's carrying those buckets of water. I think we try and build hypes for that water to flow through. It's maybe the best analogy. Siro is a system. It's a mindset. It takes a little time to get set up, right? We help you onboard it. But we build this culture or accelerate culture to many dealers of getting that coaching to be something that folks do for themselves, not just a way to receive feedback. So they can go into our platform and say, it's telling me what I need to practice. It's giving me an opportunity to practice before, again, find the customer, so that I can go out for every customer interaction and make it a Super Bowl level performance, right? Where they're the top of the game.
And Ashley, for your stores, there's a lot of processes and a lot of customer touch points that happen. How do you see this really helping your teams be more effective?
Yeah, great question. Well, I think this goes back to the conversation we were having earlier about leadership, right? And how it's so important not just to have that vision, but to have all of your employees bought in with that agency to work towards that vision. And this is an amazing technology that allows each individual employee to take that initiative, to get that coaching, to make an adjustment on the next conversation. So I really like that, especially when you've got that as culture of leadership established, culture of transformation established. This is a great way to help each individual employee make that transformation individually.
100%.
And Grant, what we're seeing at dealerships, great dealerships like the Paragon and White Plains organizations, there's a great focus on people, okay? And I know that you see some common patterns or missed opportunities that show up in customer conversations. I imagine you track thousands or tens of thousands of them. Bumpy, tell us a bit about that.
We do, yeah. I don't know how many million conversations we have, in the tens of millions at this point, but oftentimes I think what we see, especially for service advisors specifically, is they'll present an option, which is great. Sometimes that doesn't happen. I think for a lot of dealerships that have that great culture and that process established, people are good at checking off those, hey, I know I should be saying this. And they get an objection and then it's gone, right? And most salespeople, there's a healthy pushback with objections, not to create friction, but actually to provide expertise that customers want. You're the person who's working on vehicles day in and day out, who's seen it 1,000 times. And so is best positioned as a service advisor to know what to recommend to them. Sometimes that does mean disagreeing, which ultimately ends up in a better dealer for the customer and for the dealership. And so I think sometimes leaning into those moments that seem uncomfortable, but that really create the win-wins that we don't see happen in a bunch, but that Siro can really bring to life and help coach people on and help them take to the next level.
And actually, I think managers in retail, they really use some help from the outside. And in this case, it's AI to help them coach and help keep things fresh. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times employees can use that diversity of thought and coaching as well, right? Sometimes we need to hear the same thing from somebody else or positioned a little bit slightly differently. So I think having some diverse coaching and diverse input and feedback is always fantastic for our employees.
And I think adding an element of data to it too becomes really helpful. I know within arts, sometimes you get subjective feedback and it's easy to discount or say, well, that's your opinion. Being able to point to data points and say, hey, go listen to it. we're all on the same page. It makes it a lot easier to align on it, what the right way to approach it is.
Well, and Grant, one of the things that, dealerships, as they're thinking about data, you mentioned, tens of millions of phone calls or tens of millions of interactions or opportunities for coaching. What's one thing that dealerships would be surprised to learn from analyzing their own customer conversations?
Yeah, I think oftentimes a lot of hidden gems that individuals within teams have figured out never get surfaced. You've got someone who, by doing it tens of thousands of times themselves, has kind of hit that level of expertise, but it doesn't get spread across the team because they're not actively thinking about doing that. And a platform like Siro can recognize, wow, this is a real positive differentiator for this person on the team, and democratize almost the access to that information, the tactic, so that everyone can benefit. And it's a win-win, right? You as the person get to feel great about contributing something that up-level the team, and everyone else gets to see ways for them to improve their performance.
And Ashley, thinking about this type of analytics, what would you, as a retailer, want to see and want to know about these customer conversations and your team?
Absolutely. I mean, well, what's working and what's not, right? This is exactly what Grant is articulating. Let's get into actual specifics. I think one of the most powerful things that technology can bring us is new insights as to what's already happening. We can all look at a lot of data, but unless it's really feeding up, okay, but what are those specific conversations, or what are the specific techniques that are landing? Which ones are actually losing customers? That's what I would want to see. That's what I want to get my hands on. And like Grant said, start to democratize across the whole employee base, so everyone has that opportunity to win more with the customers.
And Ashley, going back just a couple of years, I think we first met you at an early Fixed Ops Roundtable, and Brian was talking about some of the great ones that had originally come from Google. And isn't this, it's got to be an exciting time in our industry to see all these things coming to fruition to help the retailers somewhere in service.
Absolutely. It's so exciting. I mean, I don't think there's a more exciting time to work in automotive. When I was at Google, we used to say automotive is sometimes, 6 to 8 years behind the other industries in terms of adoption, just because we work in so many big, o- tenured companies who have been around for a long time. And so now being able to realize the promise that technology has always had there for us is so exciting. So invigorating.
Exciting opportunities, Ted, and lots ahead, I'm sure, in terms of conversations around coaching and meaningful conversations.
Grant, thank you for all the great work that Siro is doing for the industry.
It's our pleasure. Happy to be participating.
And we look forward to learning more as we go through the year, because you're constantly uncovering new opportunities for dealers. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ted.
I'm Ted Ings with Sarah Vantine. We are here in Queens, New York. We will be right back.